We begin our broadcast with the issue of unresolved killings and abductions exactly 3 months after the Occupy Parliament protest of June the 25th. Now, 6 human rights groups, legal and medical associations say 61 deaths and 67 cases of enforced disappearances were reported during the anti-government protests witnessed in the country. Now, speaking when they released a report on the events of June 25th, Amnesty International Kenya and the Law Society of Kenya say they will push for a formation of a judicial commission of inquiry to probe police excesses and also file a case in court demanding justice. Take a listen.
3 months after the deadly protests in the country and the long wait for justice for the affected victims, human rights, legal and medical associations have continued to call for accountability from the government. In an event to mark the day when protesters occupied Parliament, 6 organizations have released a report detailing the historic day that left 6 Kenyans dead outside Parliament and hundreds others nursing injuries, which included gunshot wounds. The group led by Amnesty International and the Law Society of Kenya has put the number of those killed during the anti-government protests at 61.
61 persons who've lost their lives. And these are the cases we call extrajudicial killings. 61. As Imlu, we have conducted autopsies on 49 of those bodies that tell us the actual cause of death.
During the same period, 67 people were reported missing or abducted, even though the number has now reduced to 27 after 40 cases were resolved.
The president at one point or another did say or state that he did not have the names of the missing persons. And so we are calling for the immediate release of these 27.
With the unresolved murders and abductions, despite these violations being captured on camera and witness accounts, the organizations say they will seek legal route to ensure the affected families get justice.
12,000 people have called for a judicial commission of inquiry. We are going to be presenting this to the National Assembly. We are also going to be engaging with the judiciary. And lastly, we will also, in good faith, reach out to the law enforcement agencies to give them the opportunity to essentially course correct the behavior that we have seen over the last 4 months.
The Law Society of Kenya is collecting information together with our stakeholders and our partners in regards to mounting a consolidated petition towards reparations for all those who lost their lives and all those who lost or had an interest affected in one way or the other, especially in terms of a human rights regime.
The group has condemned police for failing to help injured protesters, covering officers' faces with masks, and using lethal weapons on unarmed peaceful protesters who were armed with flags and phones.
Kenyan authorities must conduct prompt, thorough, and independent investigations into all human rights violations committed in the context of the protests.
They have also called on government to gazette the revocation of the deployment of the military to protect critical infrastructure following the deadly protests, saying it failed to stipulate guidelines and timelines for the deployment. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV, Nairobi.